This is Matt Jones with Concordia University in Irvine. I currently work as a strength coach for UC Irvine right down the street. I work primarily with men's volleyball as well as the cross-country team. My favorite sport, I love training, love working out, and I'm watching all football right now because it's on. I'm really excited about the basketball season coming up, but I don't really watch any sport. I love all sports. Biggest takeaway from chapter 6 was really kind of my biggest eye-opener as a strength coach in general, and that is the idea that force or strength is more than just a product of the tension created in your muscles. It has a lot to do with joint positioning and torque and moment arms and all the stuff like that. You know, perfect example is the volleyball players I work with. They have multiple 7-footers, so for them, you know, back squats are tough. It puts their bodies in a tough position, you know, versus some of my cross-country athletes who are a lot shorter. It's much easier for them to drop into a back squat. So for me, that requires a great deal of thought when I put together programs, because understanding that the biomechanics of an athlete is going to differ from sport to sport, you know what I mean, depending on the various body types that you're working with. And so that has to be taken into account every time I design a program. You know, is this exercise going to benefit this athlete, you know, and how is it going to do that? In terms of application to the movement I selected, I did the overhead squat for my project, and the reason why I did that is because it's that movement in particular has such carryover to other strength activities in terms of if you're gonna do any Olympic lifting, if you're gonna do any back squatting, really if you're gonna do anything, it's a total body exercise, and it requires significant stability, mobility. It really tells you everything you need to know as a coach. If you want to know how someone moves, overhead squat them. You'll see all their deficiencies, or lack of, you know, deficiencies, right? Maybe they move really well. They have good scapular control. They have good hip mobility, you know, ankle mobility, you know, et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, so the reason why I use that movement is because I understand the idea of, you know, muscle tension being created by joint position, joint angles, and muscular force. You know, it's not just about weight on the bar, it's about getting these athletes into good positions. So if I can, you know, I'll take just a PVC pipe and have someone overhead squat that, and then if I can get them to achieve good positioning, then they're going to be able to produce more force just because their body moves better. In terms of common injuries and whatnot, volleyball players, a lot of ankle injuries, a lot of knee injuries, a lot of rotator cuffs. They're overhead athletes, so upper back strength and stability is something that I really emphasize with them, as well as knee stability through hip mobility and ankle mobility. The ankle mobility is a tough one because you need them to have enough stiffness to be able to jump, but at the same time, you don't want them rolling ankles or anything like that. So I'm fortunate that my guys haven't gotten injured very often, but those are some common ones that we see with volleyball athletes. In terms of concentric versus eccentric, concentric's very simple. It's when a muscle shortens. You know, from the bicep curl, the concentric portion is me bringing my hand closer to my shoulder, right? This muscle is now shortening. The opposite eccentric is going to be when it lengthens, right? So as I bring my hand down, as my hand goes further away from my shoulder, my muscle is lengthening, and that is going to be eccentric. Generally, you're going to be stronger in the eccentric portion of a movement than the concentric portion, for the basic reason that the body is only going to be able to produce what it can absorb. Eccentric generally has to do with absorption of force. So your body's not going to let you produce, you know, 5,000 pounds of force if it can only absorb 1,000. You know, just Doesn't make any sense. So yeah, that's all I got for you tonight. Have a great evening.